I invite you to geek out with me on the Motrr Robotic camera gimbal, now with the GoPro mount. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here with the Geek Smack review over at Geekazine.com. Think magazine, put in a geek like you or me. Now, when I create content, especially being as a one-person crew, I'm always looking for ways to make my cameras do more. When I saw the Motrr Galileo last year, I thought this would be a great way to do that. But not living in an iPhone world wasn't a device I could really use. Now, Motrr has come out with many different mounts, including the GoPro mount to the Galileo. This complements my videos as I can now put a GoPro up on a table or up on a tripod up in the air to pan audiences or get a time lapse of the event. Let's take a look at the unit itself. The Motrr comes in white or black and kind of looks like a hockey puck. We'll take it off the stand here. It can rotate clockwise or counterclockwise and can be twisted vertical so you can move the camera up or down. So you can have it in a base like this, or you could spin it up like this. Now the device charges via USB cable, or you can run on an iPhone or an iPad using Bluetooth. There are connectors on the bottom and on the inside cup shaped area where the phone is placed. From what I understand, this connects a 30-pin iPhone 4 or 4S to the controller device. For an iPhone of 5 or above, I do not see any lightning connector option, although some people have used that 30-pin to lightning adapter that Apple makes to make it work. Now, the phones fit snug in these rubber cups. This one is the iPhone 5S cup. You basically place these cups into the cradle area. So you can use iPhone 5. I also have iPod 5 here and 4S or 5C, which I can use in here. My Nexus 5 doesn't seem to work, nor will an iPhone 6 or 6 Plus. Motrr is working on adapters, which will house some of these. So if it doesn't have your model of phone, it will soon. And it's also making adapters so you can set your iPad. Basically, you'd have to be flat like this, and you could set your iPad up like this to do the video if you wanted to get it done. However, with this special adapter that I have on the GoPro, I can fit this nice and snug into the Motrr so I can use it as a full gimbal, left, right, up, or down, just like an iPhone would. Let's talk about the app and the in-app store for a minute. This is a download on the iTunes store. There is no Android version. There is no version for the Mac or PC. When you install the app, you simply twist the base of the Motrr to turn on the Bluetooth. A little green light will show up there, and then it will see it appear on the device if you have it in the joystick mode. You can also hit here and go to apps to download different types of apps, including voice calling and other apps such as that. There are several apps that you can get, some of them for purchase, that will time-lapse, stitch photos, 360s, panoramas, and more. These are all iOS apps, and so the GoPro option really doesn't use any of these apps in this case. The basic is for the joystick. There's two options. You have the joystick and the D-pad. The D-pad gives you left, right, up, down, a little bit more functionality that way. Now that we've taken a look at the Motrr Galileo, we're going to take a break and I'm going to check out the pros and cons from this little device, and we're going to do that next. So the Motrr is a great way to take panoramas, time-lapse, 360s, and a whole bunch more. Let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of this device. There's a couple big issues with Motrr. First of all, if you've put the device on a tripod up in the air, make sure your iOS device doesn't lose its Bluetooth connection. The only way to reconnect is to actually twist the base. And it's not easy if you're up in the air, and it can actually ruin your panorama shot. The idea is to download an app, you set your iPhone in there, and let it run until that recording is over. If you want to do anything more intense, such as do some self-controlling video, like stopping this and letting it go the other way or something like that, you will definitely need to get another iOS device if you're using your iPhone as the video camera. Like I said, there is no Android app. There is no way to connect the Motrr to a PC or a Mac using their Bluetooth. The iPad can be used if you download the iPhone app. And, you know, I'd even pay for a separate RC controller pad that I could use at a moment's notice. The design makes it harder to house anything more than an iPhone 5, 5S, or even 4S. There is an adapter for the iPhone 6, nothing for the 6 Plus, but any other device that you have, you'll have to actually close the vertical arm like I showed you here, so you can go from there. The good news is if you have access to a 3D printer, you can make mounts for other cameras, iPads, and even more. You just need the specs for the cup and the housing. Let's take a look at the GoPro mount right here. It works well in capturing video, simple to use, hook it right up. The housing has access to your HDMI video port, but the USB is actually in the wrong place for the Hero 3 and Hero 4 devices. A small mod with my rotary tool, and I could actually fix that, so that's not a big deal. Also, those cables could actually start inhibiting movement because those cables are going to be here as opposed to over here. So if you're doing about 2 to 3 hours worth of recording, you might want to have a good GoPro battery that can last about 2 to 3 hours of recording. Make sure that you don't have the Wi-Fi on, because that could drain the battery as well. In all, for a simple time-lapse or panorama, the device is awesome. Even for doing some simple GoPro movement, this Motrr does the job well. I can set the device at a snail's crawl, which is doing it right now, to capture some great shots, or I can set it at a high speed to make you feel like you're spinning out of control. The Motrr is $149 and is available now. So that's it, the Motrr Galileo with the GoPro mount. It's a great little item for some of you camera enthusiasts out there. And if, of course, you have access to a 3D printer, you could probably get this all modeled so you can actually hook on your regular point-and-shoot camera or another phone or another device. So you can use this maybe even for my Nexus 5 and go from there. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me. Do you have a product that you want me to review? Email me or tweet me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek, or geekazine@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. We will be back next time with another geeky little gadget. And until then, you guys geek out and take care.